What up, everybody? It's your boy Adam, and it's another day, and we're back at the Rise and Grind Challenge, day 14. I didn't record a video yesterday on day 13, and it's day 14, and it's a little bit into the afternoon, and I'll kind of rewind the clock, and we'll just kind of recap what I've done since the last time I talked to you. Both videos are going to go up today for the members. No ads, however long it is. And then after the channel members have had a day or so to watch the videos, which I know they do because I see it in the analytics, then all you peasants will get to watch them with the ads. If you don't want to watch the ads, you can throw down $2 a month. Just go to the join button right here on the channel and put down your $2, and I'll make it worth $2. You can't even get coffee at a coffee shop for $2. So one coffee. So I'll make it worthwhile. That's the plug for today. I'm just going to get right into it. Day 12. I'll tell you what I did for each day, then I'll tell you how I ranked each day on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we'll kind of, what am I learning? So, got up around 9:45 in the morning on Wednesday, which was day 12, and I recorded another one of these videos. And I'm looking at it, it's on YouTube right now, but I had too many other things going on to put the metadata in and make it go live for the channel members. You know, people think that it's super easy to do YouTube, and it's not. You will learn. It's not hard, but it's not easy. And just to get a video up there, just the me sitting in front of the camera and talking to you guys on a phone where I can upload the file directly from the phone, no edits. It takes, however long it takes the file to go up there. Then you have to write a title, a description. You have to put a bunch of keywords in a field, put some other metadata in. Then you've got to figure out what you're going to use for the thumbnail image. And YouTube, it's always like, here, that's the thumbnail image that YouTube will pick for this video. It'll pick the goofiest looking face. It would pick that one and say, oh, here's a perfect thumbnail image for your video, Adam. So I have to manually open up the video and take a screenshot. Like, just find the easiest way to do it is to just open up the video on a high resolution monitor, bounce around in the video till I find a face where I'm not looking completely dumb, take a shot of it, save that file out as a JPEG, and upload it as the video thumbnail. It takes time to do all this stuff, even if I use AI to do most of the grunt work. It's not easy. So I recorded that video, I uploaded it, but then I just moved on and did other things. My second wind hits usually afternoon. Like, the mornings up between whatever time I get up and noon are usually a waste. I'm usually sluggish, I can't function. The only time that's not true is when I go to the bakery. And when I drive to the bakery, it is kind of true. I mean, it's kind of a job where you just can't stand around and sit still anyway and warm up to the day. It's just like, go, 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 as soon as you get there. But when I get on a bicycle and I ride that 25-mile ride, it takes about an hour and a half on average. That level of exercise, I'm up. I'm ready to go. I'm good. But on most days when I'm home and I don't have to leave the house and I'm not required to get out of bed at any specific time, my second wind or the wind, I pick up afternoon. I can pretty much say that my entire life has been like that. But it was no exception on Wednesday. I've got some annoying things in the house. I've been getting some plants and I don't do fake plants. My black thumb already killed one I threw it out this week, dumped it out in the yard, because it had no chance. And fruit flies are showing up because of the plants. Like, sometimes plants will attract bugs. And so that's been annoying, but I'm getting rid of them. They're going away. And then just other friendly bugs. Living down south, you get insects coming in your place. And so I basically, on Wednesday, decided I did something last year that I dropped a nuke in this place. I sprayed some stuff around the perimeter and all over the house, and it pretty much killed it. It pretty much made it impossible if anytime I'd see an insect, it was dead, because it walked across. There was no way it could get where it had to go without walking across something bad. And I just see them laying out in the middle of the floor. Vacuum them up and be done. And that went away quick. So this year, I'm doing that again. Even though that stuff that I sprayed last year is still working. It's kind of a miracle spray. But it's not as effective as it would be if I do another dose. It's supposed to only last 6 months, but I noticed that it definitely hit. It definitely hit for more than 6 months. But I'm going to supplement that with 3 other things to treat the house, to pretty much make it impossible for an insect. Like, this is not going to be the place you want to go if you have more than 2 legs. You do not want to come in here. But it would be, everything I'm doing is safe for pets. Like, and I don't have any pets, but if for some reason somebody brought a dog over here for an afternoon or whatever, it's not going to be any harm. So I took care of that. I ordered it. All the stuff is here now. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 bombs, plus some other things I already have. It's game over. Underneath my sink here in the kitchen, it's just a plethora of bug bombs for every freaking insect that can be a problem here, of which there are many. There are many. The further down south you move, that because up north you can have bug problems, but then there's this thing called winter, and boom, winter does a lot of good to get rid of your insect issues, and then it takes a while for that to come back when spring gets here. But at least winter you get a break from all of that. And but I mean, up north you can have just as many issues. Termites ate through the floor of the house I was living in. Termites or carpenter ants, one or the other. And they went and had to gut the whole kitchen and repair the whole floor because of it. And then I heard through the grapevine that it happened again because they didn't fix the problem right, so they had to do it all over again. I'm like, well, do it right the first time, you won't have that problem. But people don't like to do that sometimes. But so I worked on a client project. As soon as I was done recording a video on Wednesday, I just jumped into my client work, and I'm in the zone on that stuff now. And I worked on that until 5:30. I would have worked on it until 10 o'clock at night, but it was Wednesday. It was time for the live stream on this YouTube channel, and I'm committed to doing that. I'm annoyed at the fact that I'm shadow banned on YouTube. I have been since September of 2024. I've heard 4 different creators. I could tell you their channel names, but it's not super important right now. They have all said the same thing that I'm saying. They start talking about something, and it could be from the prepper community, it could be the truth teller community, like the tinfoil hat conspiracy theory nut jobs. It could be It could be life and relationships category. It could be all walks of life. I've heard the same exact story from 4 different creators just in the last week that are the exact same thing I'm going through. They said something YouTube didn't like, but YouTube didn't give them a strike, didn't give them a warning, nothing. But all of a sudden, the very next day, the impressions are the number of views that your video thumbnail gets on YouTube in general. The higher the number of impressions, the more people see that you put a video up. And that controls how many people discover you. So this one guy said he talked about something to do with cancer and the way that he made his cancer go away. All of a sudden, YouTube locked his channel. He has 85,000 something subscribers. And he said for the last 4 months, his subscriber count has been locked at the exact same number. Give or take 5 subscribers, up or down. For 4 or 5 months, his channel has not gained 1 new subscriber, 0. And he had over 85,000 to begin with. But all of a sudden, one day, the subscriber count stopped growing and it just stayed at the exact same number. Day after day after day for 4 months. I'm at 1,220 subscribers. That's where I've been since September of 2024. So we're going on 18 months, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, 19 months now. 19 straight months of not getting 1 fucking subscriber. Not 1 in 18 months. And I'm like, I could put up a fucking video of a fish bowl with a goldfish swimming around in it, have a channel with 1 video, and that's the only video I ever posted, and I would get more play than that in a span of 18 months. And I know it, the exact video, because my analytics will tell me. There was an exact video where I said something, all of a sudden they tanked it. The impressions dropped, and boom. I've been stuck at 1,220 subscribers now for 19 months. That first 1,200 subscribers showed up in 60 days. And then, boom, lockdown. No subscribers. Zero subscribers. Not even 1. In 19 fucking months, with over 400 videos posted, not 1. Not even 1. And then I heard 3 other people talk about the exact same thing. Another guy, let me just see. I'm just looking real quick to see how many subscribers this guy has. Has about, I think he's in the 80,000. Oh, he's got 65,600 subscribers. He said the same exact thing. He said all of a sudden one day his impressions went down to nothing and his subscriber count stays locked 3 months now at the exact same number. Give or take 5. It might go up by 2, down by 3, up by 2, down by 1, and it just flatlines. Plus, he also said, this guy said that he gets about 100 emails a week from people who tell him, hey, I subscribed to your channel, and all of a sudden I've been unsubscribed from your channel. What's going on? Or, I subscribed to your channel. What happened? Did you stop posting videos? And the dude's like, no, I post them every day. So the people that follow him, the people that subscribe to him, they're not seeing that he even posted a new video. Like YouTube, once YouTube decides that you're done, that you're not one of the chosen ones, they'll let you keep posting videos and they'll let you keep playing the game, but behind the scenes, they block people from seeing you. They block people from discovering you. And these are all people that say the same shit I say. Like, in one way, shape, or form, we're all like, we're all blood brothers in terms of our content. We all talk about the same kinds of things. What we haven't, our subject matter is different. Our genre is different. But the one thing that we all have in common is we all say the things that YouTube doesn't want you to say, and poof! Another one of them has 300 and something thousand subscribers, and he's been stuck at the same subscriber count for a couple of years. And his subscribers don't get notifications when he posts a new video or anything like that. And it's just, this is what it is. And so I'm off track a little bit with the topic here, but I think the only way for content creators who are in the YouTube shadow ban system to grow is to collaborate with each other. So, I mean, I'm at the bottom of the barrel, 1,200 subscribers. In 19 months, I can't even get one fucking subscriber. So, at least these other people, at least when you've got 80,000, 300,000, 65,000 subscribers, etc., at least you can generate some income from that through this system. I can't. I can get like $100 every 6 months at the rate I'm going right now. There are tricks and things that I could do to increase that, but I'm stuck. This channel will never get more than 1,220 subscribers, ever. Because that's the number that they decided to lock it down at. And they have automated ways to lock you down without saying that they locked you down, without putting a lock on you, and without telling you that they're doing it. It's all behind the scenes. Next time I go to there's an upcoming YouTube creator meeting where they're going to talk in great detail about the algorithm, and so I'm going to record that meeting, and I'm going to record my screen, and I'm going to challenge them. I'm going to because I do this from time to time, I'm going to have my thoughts prepared, and I'm going to put them on blast and be like, so I've got I can list out 12 different channels that you guys have shadow banned, including my own. We all have the exact same story. Subscriber count locked at an exact number for anywhere from 3 to 19 months without gaining one new subscriber in spite of posting 400 videos. People are unsubscribed automatically from the channel. All the different things I just mentioned. And I'm going to put these people on blast in a Zoom meeting with 100 and something people. And then I'm probably going to get kicked out of that. Who knows? But I'll record it and let you guys see. Because all they're going to do is gaslight you. All they're going to do is say that we don't shadow ban people. There's things that you can... Bullshit. We all know what's going on. So, but, I'm trying not to go too far off the rails with the topic here, but this is stuff that I'm working on. I have plenty of time to prepare for that meeting. It's in a couple of weeks, but I'm going to have a bullet point I'm going to have some bullets in front of me so that I can just bang, bang, bang through it. And I'll record my screen. I'll show you what they're saying, and, I'll make it a video. Because I think it'll be interesting for people to see how they're full of shit. But I mean, my analytics prove exactly what's going on. They give you detailed analytics, so you can just look at your own analytics and say, yeah, that's exactly when it started. Here's what's going on, so on and so forth. The other thing, if your impressions do start to go up and rise, it's only because they might decide to show the people that already subscribe to you. They'll show them your video thumbnails. But they refuse to show your video thumbnails to anybody who does not already subscribe to you. So nobody new will ever find you. And to tell me that my content's not good enough to attract that kind of an audience is bullshit, because I can pull up 20 different accounts that have 6-figure level subscribers or tens of thousands of subscribers who do the same exact thing I'm doing. Talk into a microphone in front of a camera with nothing else, not even screen sharing or anything else, unedited, just say it like it is, content, and they talk about the same kinds of things. And like I said, a lot of them, they grew to a point, and then YouTube was like, we're done, and locked them out. And but they were at least able to grow a little bit more. For me, it was like 1,200, boom. We got you monetized so we can make pennies off of your ads, but you ain't gonna make shit yourself. And so say they take people at 12, 1,100, 1,000 subscribers or whatever. They let you get to that point so they can monetize your account and start putting ads on it because they make money off of that. Well, if they can do that to 20,000 people and just lock you down to where you can never grow, multiply those 20,000 locked accounts by the ad revenue that they make millions of dollars from that, but the individual creators, it takes them 6 months to earn $100. And that's all I'm getting at. So the point is, I'm putting a lot of time into doing these YouTube videos. A lot of fucking time. And I'm not going to stop because aside from the YouTube nonsense and the crap that they do, the YouTube videos have unlocked all kinds of things in my life and brought opportunities to me that would have never come my way if I wasn't doing it. And YouTube has nothing to do with that. But the fact that I'm here and the fact that I'm doing this has a benefit, and it has paid off. All the clients that I work for came from me doing this YouTube channel. There are other things that have come out of this that are positive. And so I did a 3-hour live stream 2 days ago, and I was fine. But it's time. This is it's not, I wouldn't say I'm putting in 40 hours a week, but YouTube creators can put in 50 to 100 hours a week and at the end of the month make $100. You're not making, you have to be Mr. B, you have to be a chosen one. You have to be someone that they pick before you can grow and actually start making an actual living from this, to where you can actually pay your bills, buy a house, all that kind of stuff. And they pick and choose. And I'm telling you, when I sit in these YouTube meetings, it's the leftist woke mafia. I'm surrounded by that shit. Listening to all of them talk their leftist woke bullshit. And it's straight, it is what it is. I don't fit in. I don't talk. I try to keep my mouth shut. I just sit in the back of the room and watch this. And maybe I learn something here and there. And I do learn some things here and there that are useful to me, which is the only reason I go. And every now and then I meet somebody worthwhile. But I'll be in this meeting and there'll be, people will be introducing themselves and talking about their channel and their content. And it'll be like, I play video games. I've got 600,000 subscribers who watch me play fucking video games all day. That's all I do. I play Fortnite. I play video games. 600,000 people log in every week and watch me play video games, and I'm probably making $6,000 to $10,000 a month to play fucking video. What the fuck am I doing? Trying to work for a living and do something honest or do something useful for the world when I should just be playing fucking video games for 10 grand a month. I still don't understand why the fuck I just don't cave in and go all in on that. I could play Grand Theft Auto all fucking day. When Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I could go buy the best Xbox with the best TV available, plug that shit into YouTube and Twitch and all the other ones and just play fucking video games all day, call it a day, and make my living. How do you make your living? I play fucking Grand Theft Auto for 12 hours a day. Ooh, it's a rough life. You know what I mean? And just some of the most ridiculous shit becomes extremely popular, but it's because they got chosen to be. This whole thing about the natural algorithm they pick and choose. They pick and choose. That's how it's always been. It's how it's always been since before the internet. You on the radio, the top 40, whatever, Casey Kasem's top 40 bullshit songs. It's not the 40 songs that people wanted to hear the most. It's the 40 songs that these fucking radio stations play nonstop because they've got a playlist of 40 songs this week, and these are the ones that they played. It has nothing to do. It's the music industry chose these 40 songs. The top 40 radio show was just an advertisement to promote the songs that they want you to go and buy. It didn't mean anybody actually liked the songs. It's the same shit they're doing now. You know, the internet started out where anybody could create something that had a chance to grow and become viral and word of mouth and all that stuff. But they have manipulated this whole thing into a closed ecosystem once again and got everybody back to where things used to be. So, I just went off the rails 25 minutes in. But I'm just, I'm trying to give you the information, but I'm trying to work on this. But it's frustrating that I pour time of any kind into something like this, where it's pretty much a guaranteed flop. Not because I could put more time and effort into editing videos and doing better quality stuff, just to be locked down and broke. So there comes a point in time where it's like, do I really want to keep doing this fucking bullshit or not? And the answer is yes, I do. But I got to figure out a different way. And YouTube's not going to do anything but make YouTube's going to do nothing but suppress the things. If you're here watching the video, it's because you were either an original gangster who decided to watch from day one and you want to see how things go. But you didn't just stumble upon this one random day without knowing who I was already at this point. Because YouTube's not going to allow that. So I need to try and collaborate with other people. I got to try and just I got to do something different. And that's fine. It's fun. I don't dislike it. I just dislike the fact that, I just don't like this censorship and bullshit world that we live in right now. In so many ways. And like I said, I'm not alone. I listened to 4 different content creators in the last week while I'm working and listening to YouTube in the background, all telling the same exact story of what I'm experiencing, down to the exact scenario, down to the exact same details. It happens the same exact way for every single creator that I listen to. And the ones that grow, it's mindless bullshit. I'm just, the more mindless bullshit, woke assholes, just the more dumbass bullshit that I keep saying. They want you to be broke, they want you to be dumb, and they want you to be sick. Any content that will help you become more broke, more dumb, and more sick, that shit will grow like wildfire. Anything that tells you how to not be broke and be wealthy, anything that tells you how to be healthy, and anything that tells you how to be smart, they don't want you to have anything to do with that. But that's what happens when you're ruled over by billionaire satanic child molesters who rape kids and get away with it, and they figured out, oh shit, we can get away with raping children. There's nothing we can't get away with, so fuck it, let's bring it all, let's do it all now. And so they're not holding back anymore because they figured out these dumb motherfuckers aren't going to do anything to us for raping kids. So we may as well just do whatever we want now because they ain't going to do nothing to stop us. And you see the results of that in our society day after day after day after day. It is on the pace at which the United States is falling apart is mind-boggling to me. And nobody gives a fuck. Keep the beer, keep the football, you're good. As long as we have football and beer, we're good. The only reason that there wasn't a revolution during the COVID scam, here we go, I called COVID a scam, boo, there goes the channel rank. But during the COVID scam, the only reason there wasn't a revolution bigger than January 6th was because they got rid of the football, but they didn't get rid of the beer. While mom and pop had to close their diner, while all these people had to go out of business and be unemployed and lose everything in their fucking lives, the liquor store was allowed to stay open, wasn't it? You could still go get beer. You could still go get booze. take away the football and the beer, Washington, D.C. will burn to the ground in 48 hours. There won't be a single stone left. Stone will be burned to the ground, not just the wood and the other materials, the building materials. The fires will burn so hot it will melt the rocks that those buildings are made out of. It will be leveled. 48 hours after you take away the football and the beer, done. Because that's the only two things that America cares about. I should just make this a separate video, but here we go. We're back. We're back to, so, I don't even know. I was talking about bugs and having to spray my house and working on a client project and then the live stream. That's what got me going down this path. So I did the live stream for 3 hours on Wednesday, and we had a great time. It's the same. It's the usual crowd. It feels like I'm chilling and sitting around the campfire with my homeboys and my homegirls, and it's a fun time. And so I enjoy doing it, and I had a specific subject in mind, and then somebody left a comment that got me agitated, and I was just like, we're going off the rails. We're going in this direction now, and that's because it was live, and you guys, the audience, get to interact in real time, and you can steer the ship, because I'll go whatever direction we want to go. And so I want to improve the live streams. I want to actually start doing interviews and have people come on and have live chats with people that I vibe with, etc., etc. I have everything I need to do it. I just need to do it at this point. After the live stream, I had a big hunk of roast beef left from my slow cooker. And so I made some freaking delicious roast beef sandwiches with caramelized onions, Munster, and Gouda cheese. I should have put some sort of mayo or some sort of dressing on them. I think that was the only missing part. I think they would have tasted just a tint better, but it was still delicious. And I still have plenty of roast beef to do it again, and bread. So I've got at least one onion that's whole. I can chop that thing up and caramelize it in no time, and then just have a bowl in my fridge of caramelized onions to throw into things. But that was delicious, and I did that after the live stream. And then I just hung out and relaxed for the rest of the night. And that was Wednesday. I gave Wednesday a rank of 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 because I feel like I got up early enough, but if I could just force myself to get out of bed at 6 a.m. every day. When I was homeless, I had to. If I have to, I will. And it hurts. But then within a short amount of time, I'm good to go. I do end up falling asleep earlier when I do that, though. So when I'm left to my own biorhythms, or whatever you want to call it, I tend to wake up late, but then I stay up really late. And I tend to work really late. And it just I don't feel like I do less. I just do it on a different schedule. Some people get up, rise and shine at 4 in the morning, and by 6 a.m. they're at work, busting their ass or whatever, like you work on a farm or whatever. You got to make hay when the sun shines. But then, I know a lot of people who get up early and they grind and grind and grind, and they're in bed by 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is 6 o'clock. Those people, 6 o'clock, that's my 10 o'clock. I'm on a 4-hour shift. I don't really start winding down to chill for the night until, honestly, it's 10 o'clock most nights. So between noon and 10 is when I go. Before noon, aside from being forced to follow a schedule at a job, between noon and 10, that's my prime time. I get going, I'm doing stuff, whatever. After 10, 10 o'clock is 6 o'clock for the farmer. So I gave it a 6. I feel like if I I don't know. I just feel like if I could force myself to get up early, but then again, would it help or hurt? I don't know. Yesterday, day 13 of the Rise and Grind Challenge was a lot more simple to talk about because I got up about 9 a.m., somewhere between 9 and 10. I was awake at 9, but I didn't really get moving until sometime before 10. And then I sat down at 10 a.m., went to my time tracking sheet and logged in and just started banging on a client project. And I worked straight through till 3 without taking any breaks, other than to get up, refill my coffee mug, grab a snack bar or something like that. I don't even think I ate a single bite of food all day yesterday, to be honest. And I accomplished a lot. I got farther than I thought I was going to get on the project. I was happy with my progress, but I didn't finish. I'm working on a set of pages for a client's website. They have a lot of intricate design work. It's not so much template based, it's custom. So I have to write a lot of fresh code. These will become templates in a sense that I can build more pages that are based off of these designs for other things, and then I don't have to do as much work in the future. When I clone an existing page to make it something else, I can kind of steal or keep 70-80% of what's there in terms of styling and a template, and just put different content in its place and just follow the same patterns. So I did that until 3 o'clock. Then I was 100% going to the gym. I packed my stuff. I honestly wanted to stay home and just keep working on it, but I haven't been to the gym for a week. I haven't worked out for a week. I went to the gym the previous Thursday, did my hardcore routine, and then Friday I skipped going on a hike because the weather didn't cooperate and I didn't want to. Saturday I didn't go to the gym. I stayed home and I worked, and I got stuff done. I knew that if I went to the gym Saturday morning, I'd come home and I'd just be done, physically exhausted and finished for the day. So I didn't. Sunday didn't work out because I don't. Monday I drove to the bakery, so the only workout I got was the actual job, but I didn't get the cycling workout. Tuesday I didn't go to the gym because I decided to stay home and work and do other things. Wednesday I didn't go to the gym because I don't. And so yesterday was a week. But sometimes having a rest, sometimes rest is good. So that's the point. That's one of the points I want to make with today's video. Sometimes rest is good for you. Sleeping in, sometimes that's good for you. I feel like part of it, like the reason why my body is refusing me to get up in the morning, is because I went from August 12th of 2022 all the way to September 11th, ironically, of 2024 without ever being able to sleep in one time. Never woke up past 6:30 in the morning from August 13th, 14th, somewhere around there. August 13th, 2022, all the way to September 11th, September 12th, 2024. Yeah. I'm trying, like, it doesn't seem like the math is right, but it is. So it wasn't until I moved in with my best friend down in Houston. The first day that I lived in his place, I remember going to bed sometime that night, and it was like 5 o'clock the next day in the afternoon, and I still hadn't gotten out of bed. Like, I think somebody knocked on the door to make sure I was still alive. Like, I'm telling you, that was the first time I slept in over 2 years and some 2.5 years of not being able to sleep in after 6:30. And all of a sudden I go to bed one night. Next day it's 5 in the afternoon and I still didn't get out of bed. And I swear, I kid you not, I got out of bed. I probably went and ate a meal, hung out with some people, went back to bed. I was probably back in bed by like 9 o'clock and probably slept half the next day away too. Like, just my body finally was like, okay, time to recalibrate here. And then, there's been a lot of stress and trauma here. Not as bad as being in prison and homeless and all that, but I've been a struggle. And so when I finally got to the point where I could let my guard down and relax a little bit, my body was like, okay, well, it's time to fucking relax. And so the modern hustle culture that we live in now would say I'm a lazy piece of shit. Oh, he took time to relax. He slept in. He didn't get out of bed at 4 in the morning. David Goggins would call me a lazy piece of shit because I don't get up at 4 in the morning and go jog 100 miles and then come back and, do 6,000 pull-ups and then, work 12 hours on stuff and grind, hustle, grind. But physically, I didn't go to the gym. I did not work out for a whole week. And prior to that, I had been doing some extremely difficult workouts for a 50-year-old guy, I don't know 24-year-olds who would work out as much as I've been. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Mondays, sometimes Saturdays, 4 or 5 days a week working out for 4+ hours. 50-mile bicycle ride, 4 hours at the gym, 4 hours at the gym, 7-mile hike, etc. Doing that every week for a while. So I took a week off. And here's what happened. I went to the gym yesterday. I get on the rowing machine for 45 minutes. Except, right off the bat, it felt too easy. Now there's a scale of 1 to 10 on the rowing machine. And I accidentally set my interval times. So you set a time for doing intervals. Intervals are when you go all out for a period of time and then you take a break and then you do it again and you take a break and you do it again. And so I typically do 1 minute on, 45 seconds off. Well, I accidentally set it for 1 minute on, 30 seconds off. But I noticed right away it felt too easy. On the scale of 1 to 10 on the resistance knob, I had started out at the gym with the resistance knob set at about 5. And then over the 12 weeks or so, I've ramped it up to about a 7. Well, I had it set at 7 yesterday, and I was like, yo, this is like... So I cranked that bitch up to 10, and I was doing it. I was like, it feels like I'm actually working out again. And then the 30-second break was screwing with me instead of having that 45 seconds between sets. And that's just the warm-up. That's just what I do before spin class. I'll do 15 intervals. So 15 minutes of yanking that thing as hard as I can because I was angry. The pool and the hot tub were still closed. And I was upset about something else, probably road raging a little bit from the drive and the traffic and who knows what. And so I get on that rowing machine and I'm like, fuck you, motherfucking bitch. I'm like on it. Until I just completely wear myself out to where I'm too worn out to be angry anymore. But, going to the gym angry is good. It's good. You'll fuck shit up. That's good. You get in a bike race and you're pissed off. You're going to go faster. It's a little handy tip. But it's an outburst of energy. It doesn't last. It's not for the endurance race. It's for the sprint. If you're in a bike race and you coming up on the last sprint and you're in a race with 3 people, think about something that pisses you off. Your ex-wife, your mother-in-law, whatever the fuck it is. You will get an extra 5 miles an hour out of that angry fucking mode and just throwing that bike down than you would if you're not in a bad mood. But it's only gonna you're gonna get like the last 2,000 meters at best. And that's it. You got to time it. You don't want to be angry until that last minute of the race. So anyway, level 10 on the rowing machine like it was nothing. And then I go to spin class, and the one thing about these spin bikes is that they're very measurable. So when you turn on the resistance on the spin bike, it has a number assigned to it, so you know it's consistent from week to week. It's not just a knob that you guess, it's a number. And it also tells you your wattage in power output. And so for the whole spin class yesterday, for the whole hour, I was 2 notches up on the resistance setting in general, above and beyond what I normally do. And also watching my heart rate for the same amount of heartbeat, I was getting an extra 2 notches of resistance at the same RPMs. And there were times where we would turn up the resistance a little bit high and just either sprint or simulate hill climbing. And I'm looking down at my watts, 400 watts. I was holding 400 watts for like a minute at a time. 350. Now, my average watts on a bike ride and in spin class, my average is probably 150. I'm not holding 400 watts for more than like, a minute at the most. Like that's like all out. 350 is pretty much all out. Like anything above 300, I'm actually pushing really hard and it hurts. But I can do that harder. Like pushing 400 watts for like 30 seconds to a minute, I couldn't do that 12 weeks ago. That's why when the last time I did go on a bicycle ride, when I rode home from the bakery, my average speed was 6 miles an hour faster than it normally is. I broke 9 personal records on the way home, where I got the fastest time on that stretch of road than I'd ever had before. One of those personal records was a minute and a half faster than the last personal record that I set on that stretch of road. And I felt like Superman the whole way home, and I'm still fat. I have not lost 1 single ounce of weight since the day I started going to the gym. Not even 1 ounce. But I can measure that I'm stronger. When I go to the gym, I can lift more weight. I can do more reps. I can hold things longer. I can throw down 400 watts on a spin bike and hold it for like a minute with sweat pouring down and my heart going bang, 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 like it's gonna explode. And I can do it. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that 12 weeks ago. So something good's coming out of it. But there was a huge jump yesterday. Then the week off, I know where I was at the previous Thursday, and yesterday there was a huge jump in how strong I was that I felt the whole time I'm at the gym. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, everything I did felt stronger. And to be honest, if you overtrain, if you work, if you go to the gym every day and you work out for 3-4 hours a day, day after day after day after day, you'll actually see your performance go downhill. You won't be as strong on the spin bike. You won't be able to pour out 400 watts for a sustained period of time. You won't be able to set the rowing machine all the way up to 10 and crank on that thing. You won't be able to lift and do the same number of reps you could do a week ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever. You'll actually go downhill. Last year when I was riding my bicycle to the bakery, I rode 4,000 miles. I'm telling you, at the end of the summer, August, September, I was so worn out from so much cycling that I couldn't forget setting any record times or record pace. I was barely able to go my average speed as a top speed anymore. I was limping along. I could barely do it. It was hurting. It was pain. It was nonstop, like exhaustion. I couldn't stand up and climb up a hill. I couldn't do nothing. And we don't have hills here, but we have a little bit of every now and then there's like a 30-second run up on We have like little rolling. It's flat here. It's flat, but every now and then there's a little street like that kind of goes like this a little bit. But if you lived in Pittsburgh for 30 years, ain't nothing. There ain't no hills here. In Pittsburgh, there are places where you can go 4 miles uphill without taking a break, and that's a whole different ball game. And when you get into the mountains outside of Pittsburgh, even just in the mountains in Pennsylvania, you can go on a 20-mile long uphill ride, and then you get to go back down, which is a lot of fun. But it's crazy. The strength improvement from last Thursday to yesterday was like, I felt it. And so sometimes you do need a break. Sometimes you do. Sometimes less is more. After the gym, I went to the grocery store. I just grabbed a few things that I needed. I go to the prepared food section and I try to get some things so that when I come home, I can just sit down and eat. I wish that I wasn't eating that late at night, because I think that's what's got me stuck on the weight more than anything. People are telling me, oh, you should just take Ozempic like all the Hollywood people do. And like that's the easy ride, huh? But yeah, I need my body to completely fall apart just to lose some weight. I think I'll pass. I can be a fat piece of shit for a little longer and be healthier when I lose the weight. Yoga class. Yoga's the one that tells you what's up, and that's where I see the least amount of progress in terms of my fitness gains. But yoga's very consistent, so like I do notice that there are certain things that don't hurt as much in yoga. There are certain things that I have a little bit more mobility, a little bit. I can stretch a little bit better. I can hold a pose a little bit better, but I still look like a train wreck, and I still feel like a train wreck when I do it. It's a disaster. But it's helping, and it's working, and it's also yoga's part of the reason why my cycling is getting faster, because it's loosening up stuck parts of my body and allowing new muscles to enter the picture. Instead of the same muscles over and over in your legs, it's activating all the other muscles that weren't getting used a lot, and now those are getting thrown into the pedals when I ride. And like I said, my average speed is about 6 miles an hour faster now, and that's without losing any weight. If I lose 40 pounds, shit, my average speed's going to be 22 miles an hour. Average. I already know, because when I was younger, that's what I used to do. I used to throw down 20 to 25 miles an hour without really having to put a lot of it. That was not my all-out effort. 30, 35 was my all-out effort on flat land. Now I can barely do 30 when I'm going all out. I think I hit 27 on my way home from the bakery that day, and that was my max. My max used to be 38, 45 miles an hour, somewhere in that range, like topping out on flat land. So I've still got a ways to go. This big fat piece of shit belly blocks a lot of wind. It's not aerodynamic when the wind's got to go woo and back around. So it's not the best. But I gave yesterday a rank of a 6. Another rank of a 6. It just felt like I did a lot of stuff. I felt like I was productive from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., whether it was working on stuff for the clients and working on my physical fitness. I feel like that all counts. But I feel like I should get up earlier. Once again, even though I was up really late last night, because I'm on a swing. I'm on a different time warp. My natural rhythms just don't work to wake up early, and when I'm forced to do it, I will, but I'll never do it naturally on my own. It never works, never happens. Today, was work. Today was a bad start. I got up around 10 a.m., but I was up till like 2 in the morning last night before I could finally get myself to go to sleep. So I didn't set my alarm. I was like 2, I added 8 hours. I was like 10 a.m., it gives me 8 hours of sleep. And so I slept 8 hours. I got my 8 hours, but then I ended up waking up at 10. And I would like to go on a hike today. I have not gone on an actual hike since I got my new hiking boots. I would like to do that, but I'm also in the zone on this client project. Now it's like 1:30 in the afternoon, and I've done some things today before I shot this video. Just, housekeeping, like digital housekeeping, I would call it, not actual housekeeping. And my plan right now, I feel like instead of going hiking today, because I did bust my ass at the gym yesterday, it might not be the best idea to just go hike. I think if I can finish the current batch of work that I'm doing for a client and just pour in some hours today and get it live, if possible, live today, I'd say if I get going at like 2 in the afternoon and just work straight through till 10 tonight, throw down 8 hours without taking a break, or taking a very short break here and there, I could probably get very close to making these things go live. And if I can do that, that frees up my whole weekend, because I don't have any other obligations. I've put in my time on that. And then tomorrow, I could, instead of going to the gym, which I would like to do, but I probably won't, I could deep clean my place. Now, the last time, so my place is starting to kind of, the more time I spend doing client work and computer work and other things, then my house starts to fall apart. And because it gets neglected. Because what do? It's like, time is time. You can't, you either do this or you do that. You can't do it all. Especially when you're just one person. You don't have anybody else to help. And it's not like I got a partner in life or anything like that. I don't even know. Honestly, I'm like, I don't even know if that would ever be a good idea again after the last one I went through. Better to just be by myself. But I look around and I'm like, crap. But the last time I did a deep clean on I think it was a Saturday, whatever day it was, I think it was a Saturday. It was part of my, what do we got here? It was Sunday, right? Yeah. Sunday, April 5th was the last time I did a deep clean. So now it's April 17th. It's 12 days. 12 days without doing deep cleaning, my house has gone a little bit downward. But if I did the same amount of deep cleaning tomorrow or more, or if I did the same amount of deep cleaning that I did on April 5th, because I can see, I have notes in front of me, that's how I know. The house will be better and more clean and more organized and more perfect, closer to perfect, than it was at the end of that cleaning cycle on April 5th. I will make forward progress, and the house will actually be better than it was at the end of that day. And I would have the goal, if I do that tomorrow, I would have the goal of making it good enough that I can walk through with a camera and be like, yeah, I know I'm doxing myself a little bit, but part of this journey that I'm documenting is I could show you pictures of where I used to live. I lived in a beautiful home. I had everything. I have tons of pictures to back that up. It was a showpiece house. Wasn't huge, but it was a beautiful home. And from there, I went to prison, the worst fucking hellhole on earth. Came home to be homeless. Went from there to living with a best friend in somebody else's house. A beautiful home, but somebody else's home. to living in a fucking tool shed with, you saw it. There's plenty of videos on here of that. And then moving here. And so it's kind of like I'm showing you the rebuilding process. And with this place in particular, I have photographs. I don't think I have a video, but I have photos of what this place looked like before I moved into it. Photos that I took when I came and looked at this place for the first time and it was empty. And then I showed you all a video the first day I lived here where you could still see the U-Haul van parked next to the house when I shot the video. So my shit was just scattered around and nothing was actually, I think I had a chair and a bunch of boxes, a whole sea of boxes, right? And it wasn't like that much stuff, because this isn't that. How much stuff could I store in a tool shed? You know what I mean? It wasn't like a big deal to move here. And then I showed you an update after I had done some things. After I bought the car and I had a bed and some other stuff done, I showed you. I remember doing it after I put that bicycle workstation together. And so there's that. And I've done a lot of stuff since. So I can basically put a video together and show you the evolution and give you guys some ideas if you want to move into a tiny. This would be like the nicest layout for a tiny little cabin. This would be a pimpin' off-grid cabin if I could make the electricity. Like if I could set up an off-grid cabin in the middle of the woods that was this, it would be freaking great. It would be great if it wasn't like my primary address, but it was someplace that I could go live 6 months out of the year on my private land somewhere. My original goal was I had the goal of buying the house that I lived in Pennsylvania, and if the owner wouldn't sell it, finding something good so that I could stay in Pittsburgh, and then buying something down south with private land, like a bug out kind of situation, or maybe a half grid where I'm hooked up to the electric grid, but I can flip a switch and turn that bitch off and have solar panels and something else, so that if the power does go out or I just don't want to pay an electric bill anymore, I can just boop, turn that off, and here we go, we got something else. With a lot of homesteaders say that when you do that, you get too dependent on the grid, and then you never actually follow through with getting off grid. But that would have been my project. That would have been my goal. Living here, the way this place is set up, aside from the electricity consumption that it would take to run a big fridge and an electric stove, which could be gas. I'd rather have a gas stove. And some of the other things, and like a TV and a sound system and things like, the entertainment purposes and all that, computers and whatever else runs off of lights, power, air conditioning, things like that. If I could set up a place in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by nobody, that could be disconnected from the grid and just fucking done the day that we all need to get away from it all, this layout would be perfect. This would be banging. Granted, for 2-3 people, 3 people, it would be too much. A guy and a girl who are sleeping together in the same bed, it could probably work. Especially if you could set up a couple of, like that tool shed that I lived in. That could be set up. You could buy one of those and have it dropped on your property somewhere and turn. Holy fuck! Holy shit, something just blew up. I gotta go see out the window for a second. What the hell was that? I don't know. That shook the house, whatever the hell that was. But, I mean, it's Texas. Who knows? It could just be some Texas shit. Someone out blowing shit up for fun. I don't know. I do live on some unrestricted land, so not gonna worry about it. Something blew the fuck up though. It shook the windows here. But that's the kind of place you want to live when the shit goes down. Some place where you can blow something the fuck up in your yard and nobody's going to be around to hear the sound. You know what I mean? That's the kind of place you want to be. And this home layout has kind of taught me how much you could cram into a space but make it be comfortable. Like feel like you're living an actual home. And so it's teaching me something, you know. I don't have any closets. Like, this could be a shell. You could buy a shell of a building like this and just, boom, make it your own. Put everything where you want it to be, the sink, the toilets, the bath, all of it. This is kind of giving me ideas on how I would do it if I had a blank slate to work with and could just do something. And what I would do and how I could lay it out. And, you know, I don't need a fridge that big. You know, like things like that. And storage hacks and how to organize and how to do it without having any closets. And then, you know, if it was a nice off-grid property, like I said, I lived in that tool shed for a while. I lived in a freaking tool shed. I lived in that thing. Now imagine if I had 2 of those on my property. Like, okay, let's say I live with my significant other, if that ever were to happen, and we have, like, this is our home, this tiny little thing here that I live in right now. But we're going to need to get the fuck away from each other. So maybe 2 of those tool sheds, I lived in one. I think it was 20 feet by 20 feet. Maybe not even that. It had to be, was it 20, or was it 10 by 20 feet? I think it was as big as this room I'm in right now. 10 by 20 feet with a little bit of a storage loft above the front door because it had a little porch. Okay, so 2 of those. One for me, one for her. That's your, I need to get the fuck away from you shed. For me, it would be my office, all my computers out there. This is where I need to be left the fuck alone. My YouTube studio, my photography, indoor photography studio, whatever the case. All that, video games, beanbag chair, whatever. You know, like just whatever fits in that space, and that's my space to do whatever. Then she got hers. Arts and crafts, plants, fucking sewing machine, whatever she's into. And then maybe some other shed of some kind that's like food storage, right? And those things are like $5,000 each. I think you get one of them tool sheds. How much is a fucking tool shed? 10 by 20 tool shed. You can get these fucking sheds for like, yeah, with no windows, $2,500. With windows, $5,000. I'm looking at, like, that's what pops up right off the Bizat in YouTube. Assembly included, $7,000. A barn door, another door, 2 windows on the one side. Assembly included from Home Depot. Here's like a little storage shed, barn-looking one, $2,500. Like, yeah. Put like 3 of those on your property. One for your space, one for her space, one for like storing food and stuff. Maybe another one to store shit in. Because there's no storage space here. So, but then this place here is like the living space. Big old kitchen, nice kitchen, bedroom, living room combo, and a bathroom. And that's all you need. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's a little bit bigger. Maybe the main house is like a double wide or something. Like, I mean, there's so many possibilities. The bigger you go, the more power you need, and if you're trying to do it off grid, small is better. But it just gives me ideas. And I know this video is long, but I have I'm just going to keep going for a few more minutes and then I'm going to wrap it up. So that's today. That's just my mindset is kind of churning right now. And so I don't know what kind of a rank I'm going to give today. I'm feeling like low energy today. But I'll get my second wind after I'm done with this. But what I was saying earlier about rest and having to rest. My biggest issue right now, I feel like since I started this challenge that I gave myself, 17 days will be the halfway mark of the 35 days. 17 and a half days will be the exact halfway mark. I'm on day 14 right now. Maybe the second half I get a second wind, I can maybe do more. I still haven't given myself a better score than a 6 for any of these days. I'd like to get up to like the 8. I'd like to be able to get an 8 in there somewhere. A 10 would involve luck being on my side and something happening that's like beyond what above and beyond my expectations. But I was talking about how you have to rest, right? And I took a week off from going to the gym, which is counterintuitive to what you would think you would need to do to get in shape. And I was banging it. Yeah, I was strong. And I can guarantee you, right now I feel like if I get on my bicycle and ride my bike to that bakery on Monday, which I plan on doing, I might be faster than I was the last time I did it, which will be a 2-week break. I might be even faster and more on it than I was the last time I rode my bike, and I might still beat records. Maybe not so much in the morning. It takes me a little bit longer to warm up to it in the morning, but on that ride home in the afternoon, I might be able to throw it down, and after busting my ass at the bakery all day. So we'll see. But rest, when you talk about modern hustle culture, this modern day hustle culture that has been all over the internet for so long, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, all these fucking business douchebags that just get on YouTube and tell you that, what do they tell you? If you're not working 12 hours a day on Saturday, you're a lazy piece of shit. Buy my course. There's always going to be like, give me $1,200 to take my course, where you pay Gary V $1,200 and then he sends you some fucking videos and some PDFs calling you a lazy piece of shit. You know what I mean? David Goggins, same thing. If you don't get up at 4 in the morning and run 100 miles and then do 6,000 pull-ups, you're just a lazy piece of shit. There's no excuse if you can't make it. This glorifying the long hours, 24/7 grind, business, sacrificing sleep, sacrificing your social life, sacrificing personal needs, not having anything to do with your family because that takes away time from your grind. These fucking YouTubers walking around with a selfie stick going, look at my Lamborghini right there, I just bought that. Telling you, if you're 24 years old and you don't own a Lamborghini, you need to reevaluate your life. You're a lazy piece of shit. You watch these movies like the fucking Mark Zuckerberg movie about how, he just started Facebook out of his fucking dorm room and now he's worth billions of dollars. He owns a fucking yacht that costs $96,000 a day just to keep parked somewhere. And that's just his fucking yacht. But then you find out the reality of some of these douchebags. Google, the Life Log Project from the Department of Defense, used to be called that. Now it's the Department of War, but it used to be DOD, military. They started a project called LifeLog where they were going to track everything about you in a database. And then they looked at Facebook that Mark Zuckerberg made and they're like, well, just use that. What, you mean all these fucking retards will just volunteer all their information and just give it to us without us having to go take it? Yeah, fuck it. They canceled the LifeLog project on the exact same day that Facebook was founded as a company. You can look this up. Facebook was funded by the military. That's how that motherfucker got rich. He didn't hustle, grind. He ground out enough to get the attention of somebody, and they're like, here's all this military government black project money we're going to give you. You're going to be the front man. You really don't got to do anything except show up and take selfies at your desk and stuff, yell at some people. He made business cards that said, "I'm the CEO, bitch," and now he's famous and rich. Hustle, hustle, grind, hustle. A lot of these tech billionaires, a lot of these people that just came out of nowhere, made billions of dollars, Bezos, Amazon, he didn't just hustle. I mean, they try to make it like this sob story, like he started it in his garage and he ran this book warehouse out of his garage at home until he made it. His dad gave him millions of dollars. The end. Trump. Oh, he worked and hustled and tried until he became a billionaire. No, his fucking dad gave him millions of dollars to go out and become a billionaire. Like, these fucking people didn't work for it. Gary Vee, a lot of these fucking hustle culture douchebags on YouTube and stuff that get famous, they just get on and fill you full of bullshit, and then they say, buy my course, buy my material, this, that, and the other thing, and then people just send them fucking thousands of dollars to get a fucking video of Gary Vee calling you a lazy piece of shit. And that's how this motherfucker got rich. That was the hustle. That was the grind. I mean, I know he started other businesses, and I know the whole thing about the wine library and his family, but once again, his family's wine business, so he already had money. He didn't start from nothing. All these people that end up like, oh, I came from nothing and became something. No, you came from a rich family. Somebody gave you a bunch of fucking money and you went out and turned it into more money. And I'm not saying that isn't work, but to start from, like, I'm starting from zero, nothing. If I can make it, and if I can do it without being some hustle culture douchebag, so be it. That means something. Nobody's giving me $1 million to go out and start a fucking business. No, I don't got a rich dad. I don't got a rich mom. I don't got a rich uncle handing me $2 million to go do this or that or whatever. If I get a Lamborghini, it's going to be mine. I made that money. People do come from nothing and make something of themselves. It's not unheard of. But most of these fucking famous ones, once you find out the real story, you find out it's all bullshit. So this whole hustle culture, anybody can be a startup CEO, bullshit. It's all staged. It's all staged. And, none of these were started by regular guys who just happened to get lucky and happened to work hard. But that's what they want you to think. They want you to think that you can just, if you just work hard and you just pour in your whole life into it, you can do it too. No, you can't. You can do something, but you got to do some crazy shit to get into that club. You're gonna, like, you might make it to a certain level, then you get invited to a couple of parties, and the parties, there might be some influential, like, billionaire kind of class people at this party, and then they're going to take you to a back room, and there's going to be a naked little boy strapped to a fucking table and a bunch of fucking video cameras everywhere, and they're going to say, if you fuck this little boy in the ass while we videotape it, we'll make you a billionaire like us. But you're going to do what you're told for the rest of your life. We're going to control you, and if you don't do what we say, that videotape is going to be on CNN. It's going to be on ABC News. So, and if you don't go along with it, there's going to be consequences. Your life is actually going to start to fall apart, and everybody's going to turn their back on you. You're going to lose everything, and So, like, this is the crossroads. You get to a certain level, you get invited to that Eyes Wide Shut party like Tom Cruise crashed, and you see all the weirdos and the fucking masks and the naked girls running around and everybody banging hookers on fucking coffee tables and shit like that. And, you know, and then, like I said, they take you to that back room. You got to make a choice. It's not, I just hustled and ground, worked my ass off to get to the top. That's not how this country works. We all know. We all know this. But to some extent, you can get a measure of success by grinding your ass off, working your ass off. I mean, I know an auto mechanic who owns his own garage, makes over $1 million a year. He's not living a shitty life. He didn't have to go to the Eyes Wide Shut party and rape a bunch of kids to get successful. You know, he just worked. So, but there's a certain point. If you want to own a nationwide chain of auto garages and, you know, to where you're like a multi-billionaire, you're going to have to show up to the Eyes Wide Shut party. You might get invited over to some billionaire's house to fix a Lamborghini or something like that, and then you end up in the back room somewhere. You either play ball or you don't. The pitch of these fucking hustle culture douchebags is if you work hard, you get rich. But like I said, it's all paid courses and coaching and scams rather than being told how to do it. You learn after you get scammed by paying $20,000 to Tim, what's his name? Is it Tim? The fucking Tony Robbins. You pay $100,000 in his courses and you find out the way to get rich is to sell your own douchebag get rich quick courses. That's how that motherfucker got rich. He didn't get rich. I mean, but it's not like it's not a hustle. He's still got to work. You still got to trick all these people into giving you money for your courses. But, you know, during the 1990s to 2000s when the tech boom was going on, and, you know, there was a period of time where like Homer Simpson, all he needed was a pad and a pencil and a startup name, and Bill Gates came over and gave him $1 million to start a company. You know, you could just, like the story says, you know, Mark Zuckerberg building Facebook out of his dorm room. You know, Steve Jobs, they started Apple Computer out of their garage in California. Jeff Bezos started Amazon out of his garage. You know, they give you this illusion that all-consuming work equals success. But really what's gonna happen if you try to do that yourself, you're gonna work 100 hours a week, you're gonna get burned out, and you're gonna be bankrupt. And your family's gonna leave you, your wife's gonna tell you to go hit the fucking road, you're gonna be divorced, living in a studio apartment while your ex-wife lives in your house. You're going to be paying all this child support and alimony. You're going to be completely dead broke. You're going to be like 1 microsecond away from being homeless. Unless you just get lucky. You know? You're not going to get, like, most businesses, you can't just start with no money. You can't just open up a bakery with no money. You need like $200,000 to open up a fucking bakery. I mean, that shit's not cheap. But on the flip side, if you work 7 days a week for a year and you bust your ass 12 hours a day doing nothing but hustle for money, hustle for money, hustle for money, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for a year, I guarantee you'll have money in the bank. But you'll be miserable, burned out, you won't have a social life, you won't have anything going on other than money in the bank. How much money? A lot of that's going to have to do with how lucky you are, what you're doing, what your hustle is, how in demand the hustle is, how much it's worth. You know, I mean, look at immigrants. You know, people come up here from Mexico, They work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, mowing lawns and doing all kinds of shit, and they're still broke. Can they make it? I mean, I would like to say that I personally know immigrants who've come up here and they've built a life for themselves. But, you know, their entire life revolves around hustle, 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 you know, all day long. And they're not living large, like wealthy, rich, large, but they're doing better than they'd be doing if they stayed in the country they came from. You know, it's even worse if you work for a company and they want you to hustle like that 12 hours a day. It's the 996 trend on LinkedIn from all these fucking LinkedIn douchebags talking about working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week is the new business model. If you're the founder of the company, if you have shares in the company, if the company succeeds, you get a big fat paycheck. If you sell the company, you've got shares in there and you're going to get paid for that, etc., 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 fine. Hustle, hustle, hustle. If you're making a salary, if you're making a fucking salary, which means you're not paid by the hour. If you make a salary, which is most salaries are based on 40-hour-a-week work weeks times 52. That's okay. It's based on some hourly rate times 40 times 52. That's the salary. Then after you accept the salary, it becomes 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week, 996, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday. You get Sunday to fucking do your dishes and sleep and get ready to do it again tomorrow. And if the company succeeds, you probably lose your... If the company gets sold and the owner of the company makes a whole bunch of hooker and blow money and fucking fuck you money and gets a new Lamborghini, you probably lose your job because the company that bought your company, you know, decided they don't need you. You know, I saw my boss. How many people saw your, you know, if I saw my boss driving around in a brand new Porsche 911 that he just bought, maybe he's out in the parking lot and I look at it and I give him a compliment, he's going to look back at me and say, thanks, man. If you work really hard all year, I'll be able to buy another one of these next year. It don't mean you're going to be lucky to keep your fucking job. So, you know, don't listen to that bullshit on LinkedIn about hustle culture, about if you bust your ass for some fucking company that it's going to benefit you. It's not. It's not, especially in the culture we live in right now. You're not getting a raise. You're not getting a promotion. You're not getting nothing for it. You're not getting overtime. You're getting paid a salary that was based on you working 40 hours a week. Now you're working 100. You're not getting paid extra for that extra time. If you work for an ad agency, they're billing their clients let's say they're billing their clients $300 an hour for your work. When you work at an ad agency, you have to record and log your time because that's how they're billing their clients. So I have to have a certain number of billable hours that they can bill the clients for every week to make it worthwhile to be there. They got you working 80 to 100 hours a week. Let's say out of a 100-hour work week, 85 of those hours are billable to the client. Clients, 85 times 300. Client just made $25,500 revenue from your work by billing you out at that. Let's say you make 60 grand. Divided by 52. You made $1,153 that week while the company made 26 grand. If you worked 40 hours a week and 35 of it was billable because that was what was in your contract when you signed it, they'd make $10,500 if you worked the amount of hours you were told up front that that's what it's going to be. The company makes $10,500. But now you find out, oh shit, in order to keep my job and not be tossed out to the curb, I actually have to work 85 billable hours this week. Company's going to make $25,000 instead of the $10,000. They're not even going to give you a fucking dollar in overtime. They're not going to give you a dollar for those extra hours. You made the company an extra $15,000 by busting your ass and doing all the overtime. They're not even going to give you a fucking dollar. That extra 15 grand that you made him, that goes into the CEO's hooker and blow fund. Hookers and blow. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing it for. So the hustle culture don't apply unless you own your own business and you're doing it for yourself. Just remember that. With the cost of living these days, I mean, just having one job isn't enough unless you have a really good paying job. That's why that's why mom and dad can't stay home, or that's why mom can't stay home with the kids anymore. That's why the kids are either raised at a daycare or, in terms of like Generation X, here's a fucking key, don't burn the house down when you're 10 years old. Mom and dad will see you sometime next year. We'll show up for your high school graduation, but other than that, good luck, kid. Because you can't, even mom and dad can't make enough to pay the fucking mortgage. And so, but there is a shift now, because I see it all over the place. People are fed the fuck up with being treated like shit for dedicating their entire life so some fucking scumbag can get rich that treats you like shit in return. This whole bragging about 80-hour work weeks, side hustles, unpaid overtime, etc. used to be a badge of honor. And I still see people doing it. But people are starting to reject that because, you see that you don't get anything for it. You get burned out, you get treated like shit, you get kicked to the fucking curb, and you still end up homeless or borderline homeless. You may as well enjoy your life at some point. And it goes back to what I was talking about. Rest. If you get the amount of rest that you need, if you get to relax for a minute here and there, you'll come back stronger. I took a week off from the gym. I came back stronger. A week later, I know for a fact that if I worked out every day between that day and the day I came back, I wouldn't be as strong yesterday as I was yesterday, because that time off allowed the body to repair itself and allowed some of that work to kind of congeal or what. Sometimes it's like the food. Sometimes you make something food-wise and it tastes okay, but after it sat in the fridge for 2 days, it tastes even better. You didn't do anything to it. You just let it sit and relax and congeal and mesh and, make itself, right? Your body does the same thing. Your mind does the same thing. If you take a break, that's why you take a fucking vacation. But now these corporate douchebags, you go away for 2 weeks. You get your 2 weeks vacation every year. You get one fucking 2 week stretch off in the span of a whole year. But you're so stressed out from that bullshit job that you end up spending 2 weeks worrying about going back. And you didn't even enjoy your time off. You know what I mean? Like, it's not enough. And there's so many other scams going on there. But it's like, this is an experiment for me. I know this video is an hour and a half. I know people are going to bitch about it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. 100 people are going to watch it. My channel's shadow banned. Go ahead, leave your shitty comments. I don't care. I'll talk back. You be shitty to me, I'll be shitty to you. That's how it works. You be nice to me, I'll be nice to you. But if you saw the title of these videos and you thought I was just going to be another Gary Vaynerchuk or David Goggins or some douchebag telling you to get up in the fucking morning, and if you don't have a Lamborghini by the time you're 24, you're a lazy piece of shit, and if you don't work 12 hours a day, 16 days a week, you're lazy and you deserve to be in poverty and all this. No, that's not what you signed up for when you came here. So I'm just trying to step up my game a little bit and see if I can get a little bit more going on and see if I can unlock some things and learn some things in the process and then do it again sometime. But I'm just trying to focus on that right now. And I'm really, this video is part of the hustle. It's part, building a YouTube channel and doing these videos is part of that game. And so it counts. And with that, I know I went on a lot of sidetracks and I didn't do a video yesterday. So, I have a hard time doing short videos. With that, I'm going to say peace out.